3,000 years ago, someone composed a story about a man trying to get home. Not a story about conquering the world, not about founding an empire. Just one man, one ship, and a journey that should have taken weeks, stretched into 10 years of monsters, gods, temptation, and loss. We call it the Odyssey. And it may be the most influential story ever told. Here is what most people don't know. The Odyssey was not written. Not originally, it was sung. Composed sometime around the 8th century BC and attributed to a poet we call Homer, the Odyssey existed for generations as an oral performance. 12,000 lines of verse, held entirely in human memory, passed from singer to singer across centuries before anyone wrote it down. Think about what that means. Before books, before widespread writing. Human beings memorized a story the length of a novel and carried it through time using nothing but rhythm, repetition, and the human voice. The story survived because people refused to let it die. The plot is deceptively simple. Odysseus, king of the small island of Ithaca, fights for 10 years in the Trojan War. The war ends. He sets sail for home. The journey should take a few weeks. It takes 10 years. Along the way, he faces the Cyclops Polyphemus, a one-eyed giant who traps his crew in a cave and devours them 2 at a time. He encounters the Sirens, whose song lures sailors to their death, and becomes the only man to hear their song and live by having his crew tie him to the mast. He sails between Scylla, a 6-headed monster, and Charybdis, a whirlpool that swallows ships whole. He descends into the land of the dead. He spends 7 years trapped by the nymph Calypso, who offers him immortality if he will stay. He refuses immortality, to go home to his wife. And this is where the Odyssey stops being an adventure story and becomes something deeper, because the entire epic is built around a single question. What does it mean to return? While Odysseus wanders, his home decays. His palace fills with suitors, over 100 men consuming his wealth, courting his wife Penelope, plotting to kill his son. Everyone assumes he is dead. Everyone except Penelope. For 20 years, 10 of war, 10 of wandering, she waits. And she does not wait passively. She outwits the suitors with one of the most famous tricks in literature. She promises to choose a new husband once she finishes weaving a burial shroud. Every day she weaves. Every night in secret, she unravels her work. For 3 years, the shroud is never finished. Penelope is not a woman waiting to be rescued. She is running the longest con in ancient literature, defending her home with the only weapons available to her: intelligence and patience. When Odysseus finally reaches Ithaca, Homer makes a choice that still surprises modern readers. There is no triumphant arrival, no trumpets. Odysseus returns disguised as a beggar, unrecognized. He enters his own home as a stranger and watches. He sees who stayed loyal, who betrayed him, who his son has become. The only one who recognizes him instantly is his dog, Argos, now ancient, lying neglected on a dung heap. The dog sees through the disguise, wags his tail, and dies. 3,000 years later, that scene still breaks people. The revenge, when it comes, is brutal. Odysseus strings the great bow that no suitor could bend, reveals himself, and kills every man who violated his home. The hall runs with blood. But even that is not the ending. The true ending is quieter. Penelope, cautious after 20 years, tests him. She orders their marriage bed moved, and Odysseus erupts. "Impossible," he says. "He built that bed himself, carved from a living olive tree, rooted in the earth, the entire house constructed around it. It cannot be moved." Only the true Odysseus could know that. The bed is the secret only 2 people share, and with that, After 20 years, she accepts him. The whole epic, the monsters, the gods, the war, the sea, resolves not in violence, but in a married couple recognizing each other again. Why does this story refuse to die? Because the Odyssey understood something about human beings that has never stopped being true. Every one of us is trying to get home, not necessarily to a place, to a state, to the people we love, to the person we used to be, to the life the world keeps pulling us away from. And the Odyssey tells us the truth about that journey. It takes longer than it should. You lose people along the way. The world is full of things that want you to forget where you were going. Comfort, pleasure, even the offer of immortality itself. And when you finally arrive, home is not how you left it, and neither are you. The Greek word nostos means homecoming. From it, we get the word nostalgia, the ache for return. Homer named that ache 3,000 years ago. We have been feeling it ever since. One man, one ship, 10 years. And a story that outlived the civilization that created it, the language it was composed in, and every empire that rose and fell since. Because the sea changes, the monsters change, but the longing to come home never does.